Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bridget.
And I'm Wendy.
And this is
Flickin' Beans.
Okay, so you made us Folgers, and I brought everything bagels.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. Because we watched...
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
We both craved everything bagels after, with good reason.
Yes.
This movie was incredible.
It was wild.
It was so wild.
It was so funny and so clever.
Yeah, metaphysical and multiverse. But then they called each one a verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. When they were making the movie to keep it a secret of the plot and everything, before the trailer was released, IMDb synopsis said, it's about a 55-year-old Chinese woman trying to finish her taxes. And in essence, it is.
It is that, yeah. It's just...
so much more.
Doesn't it feel like this is an extreme version of like the plot of being a human and being pulled in so many different directions at once?
Oh, for real.
You can just identify so much with all of the characters and all of their different quirks, regrets, and like wondering of which path they could have taken.
Right. It reminds me of Lost, too.
Okay.
They do diverge into a life that didn't include the plane crash.
Okay.
The movie actually has different titles in Chinese-speaking places. Okay, one of them is, in an instant, the entire universe. Okay, mystical woman warrior saves the universes. Mystical woman warrior fucks up the universe. And in Taiwan, it's either Mom's multiple universes or so fucking many universes.
I mean, I like so fucking many universes.
I do too.
Because that is what it is. It's a wild ride. The ones that they chose to like focus in on were hilarious. Like the hot dog hands.
Yeah.
Of course, you texted me that and I was like,
oh my god, yeah, we'll get there.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the movie starts out, okay, so you get a sense of her stress and her husband, who seems kind of silly and wimpy. He's going around putting googly eyes on everything.
Yeah, I loved that. But I get it.
That his name was Waymond.
I know, doesn't that sound almost like a not PC nickname for a Chinese person?
It sure does.
And you're like...
Waymond. And her name is Evelyn. Okay. This googly eye thing comes back around later, which is pretty awesome. She's got a contentious relationship with her daughter. Joy comes home with her girlfriend. But Evelyn's embarrassed or shamed to tell her elderly father.
A big part of it is she is a little bit ashamed. It's a different generation, of course. But it's also like, I just don't want to deal with the fallout. So many other things are going on. Can we just keep the peace until it gets to the party? So you're like, I don't want to have this big discussion about how your granddaughter's gay right now. Can we just move past that? And so and then it obviously like hurts her daughter's feelings when she introduces her as her friend, which I totally get. I don't think the mom was trying to be a jerk about it. Maybe a little.
Well, okay, tell me this. When Joyce storms out, I guess leaving her girlfriend behind.
Right, that was weird.
And Evelyn comes out and says, I have something to say to you. And she said, I think you're getting fat.
Oh my God, yeah, that part was bad.
What was that?
I know. They made a joke of it towards the end again, but yeah, because she had made a joke to her girlfriend that if her mom says something like, you look like you're fat, that means she cares. And then she goes and says that to her and she's just like, Mom, come on.
You just don't say those words.
No, and it's
to
not
your daughter.
And yeah, she wasn't even fat.
No, not at all.
Not that matters. I mean, it does, I guess, a little, because she's not even fat. Then you're not really worried about her health.
Can we talk about Jamie Lee Curtis's character?
Yes.
That I was blindsided when she came on. Her character, Deidre, is based on a stock photo of an IRS worker. And it shows an IRS worker with an identical hairstyle, yellow turtleneck, light yellow knit vest, glasses, and necklaces. She was unbelievable. Maybe the hair added to it.
You know, if you forget that she's Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, because she's such a famous person, that helped kind of take you out of it. Yeah, wow, she did do a good job. Also, have we all gone to see that government employee before? I've never been to the audited by the IRS. When you file for unemployment or something like that, you have to go into these dreary government buildings, and the lighting is always really bad.
Do you remember Beetlejuice, where everyone who commits suicide becomes a civil service worker? That's kind of what it was. She was clearly not a happy person.
She went back and forth between like hating her job and then like being way too serious, because she like calls the cops on them when they don't show up one day with their paperwork and stuff.
Did she call the cops? I thought it was after they punched her. That's why they called security, because Evelyn punched her in the face.
Yeah.
Because she was like, she's coming after us. And she did look so scary. She looked very scary when she was in alternate universe mode.
When she was kung fu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
All the fight scenes, oh my God. They were intentionally sped up, and I wondered if they were sped up because they did them rather slowly. Jamie Lee Curtis as an action star.
Yeah.
Looking all schlumpy, oh my God.
During this thing, you discover that Joy has split the universes, and they've got this group of people that have figured out how to jump universes, and they call it verse jumping. In order to do the verse jumping, you have to wear these Bluetooth things in your ear, and you have to do some kind of weird physical thing.
Which is so weird!
Yeah, and one time he had to paper cut his fingers. Yeah. That was so bad and so cringy. That and like fingernail things.
Oh yeah.
I just cannot. That was terrible. And he had to do it in the little skin part between your fingers, which is the worst part to get a paper cut. And then that IRS award. They show it when you first meet Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Oh, yes.
And she has these like IRS Auditor of the Year awards or whatever, and it's just a big butt plug.
Yeah.
And then later, you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then later they bring it into the movie because it turns into something you have to do to be able to verse jump. So everybody's trying to stick this thing in their butt.
The guy that flies over the office wall and lands on it.
Yes. He's in a button-up shirt and a tie, but no bottoms.
Why doesn't he have pants on?
Because he needs that thing to go up his butt.
It's a lot of pre-planning there. I mean, and he just nailed it. Yeah. How do you do that?
You wouldn't.
There were those Saturday Night Live characters where they would put things up their butt. And it was, I want to say Christopher Guest and Billy Crystal.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's older.
Yeah.
And they would have this recurring character, I couldn't believe it, where they would say, I got this Statue of Liberty from New York, and I stuck it up my butt just to see how far in I could get it to go.
Wow.
That was like the tagline.
Yeah.
Everything went up the butt.
Yeah.
And I can't believe they aired that.
Yeah, that's wild. Another guy had a generic trophy up his butt, too.
I thought there was 2 butt plugs.
There was.
So maybe she got that award 2 years in a row.
She had multiple awards, but there was also a third guy that was fighting them that had like one of those plastic trophies that you get for like playing soccer or...
Is that what she grabbed out of his butt?
Yeah.
So she was in like kung fu mode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's her husband, but not her husband, that brings her into this.
Yes.
And the reason is because, like you said, it's her daughter from another alphaverse that fractures, like her mind is fractured. And so obviously Evelyn, as her mom, they're like, but we need you. Early on, you see her husband, not husband, ninjaing through the laundromat, but they're not looking at the CCTV.
Yeah, it's on the security.
And I was like, what's going on there? Are they getting robbed? Because he was moving so fast. Deidre, she has that pro wrestler and supposedly was like their center of the universe with these branches coming off of it, and they just kind of went everywhere. And he said the farther out you're pulling from, the more differences you'll be. And so it comes down to she's jumping to all her other lives. Every one of those things helps her fight Jobu/Joy. Jobu is pretty evil. And they describe her as just raining terror, but for no good reason. And that's a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very fitting that she was a teenager.
Yeah. Well, I think that the dynamic between those two is normal mother-daughter stuff.
Absolutely.
And maybe just one more thing that she can't handle on her plate right now.
Yeah.
That headset was a pretty good headset because it never fell off.
I know.
During all those fight scenes.
All the flips, all the kicks, all the jumping down flights of stairs.
During that fight scene in the IRS office behind a file cabinet, there's some bagels up there. So that's the first time bagels come in. They need to keep up their energy, so they have to eat or do something. I think at one point she chugs a 2-liter bottle of orange soda.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh my God, cream cheese. All the cattle were killed off in the Alphaverse. Didn't it happen next that she does confront Joy/Jobu in that hallway? She's wearing an Elvis costume.
Yeah.
And she's always got most amazing look.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks completely different. She's got sparkles on her face and
jumpsuit.
She goes, Joy, why do you look so stupid? And I'm just like, my God.
Mom.
It was a weird scene because Joy could basically shift into anything that she wanted. At one point, she's dancing with the guard and he's in Carmen Miranda outfit.
Yeah.
And he's the one that gets shot. So it's just like the most weird killing I've ever seen because it kind of did look like he was dancing around.
Yeah, it's funny. The storyline that this has gives you so much freedom to do whatever you want. So they made it real weird in a lot of spots. And they're switching between them a lot. So it gets kind of confusing, but you're like, well, anything can happen.
Yeah, like coming up with 2 giant dildos.
Yeah.
And dick slapping the hell out of them.
God.
I was just like, is that what I think it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fanny pack?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah. So the husband, Waymond. Sorry. That feels racist. I don't want to say it. When she's first figuring out that, like, it's not the husband from the universe that she knows, he goes and picks up all these fighting skills and he takes off his fanny pack and starts beating people with it. And I'm like, that is so smart, actually. And cool, and he uses it like nunchucks, kind of.
It's very creative how he uses it. It reminded me a lot of a Jackie Chan movie.
And then he makes it even better by reaching into the fish tank and putting rocks in his fanny pack. And you're like, smart. Oh, now it's deadly. This should be in a self-defense class. You know, teach people how to use their purses and fanny packs. Maybe they do. I've never taken one.
Let's talk hot dog fingers.
All right.
What?
It was so weird, and then it just kept getting weirder.
Yeah, because they were lovers in that universe.
Deidre and Evelyn, the tax lady and Evelyn, are lovers in that universe.
So weird.
Which is weird because you end up tying a lot of stuff back, but in the beginning when she's fighting Deidre, like in the hallway, she escapes by telling her, I love you. I just thought that was a weird thing, but I thought it's just something they had to do to jump to another verse. Then you find out later that no, they actually do have love for each other. And in other universes, they were a couple, and you're like, what the heck? Especially the one where they're lesbians and then have hot dog fingers. What is going on?
Well, do you think when you're immediately attracted to someone that it's like that? You might have been in another life?
Yeah, I think that's totally possible. And I'm too stupid to understand it, but from what I understand about quantum physics and things like that really is kind of how molecules work. For one, everything is happening all at once in the same time, which is hard to wrap your head around. But also, every little tiny decision that you make has an equal and opposite reaction.
It's the butterfly effect.
Yeah, literally, that is probably happening. You just don't know, whatever your awareness is. So it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that that's kind of real, but I don't know.
Joy says you can see how everything is just a random rearrangement of particles in a vibrating superposition.
That is just, our human brains are too stupid to understand it. Well, some people must understand it because they tell us that, but...
When you said, from what I understand about quantum physics, I was like, you understand stuff about quantum physics?
Not really.
So these hot dog fingers were so creepy because they were long and floppy.
Yes.
Useless.
Yeah.
But they learned how to do things with their feet.
Right.
Like play the piano.
All right. Was it one
and stroke her face?
One of the scenes they kept showing were the young couple was it Joy and another person? But they were sticking the hot dog fingers in each other's mouth and then biting in it, and then ketchup and mustard was coming out of it. Ugh. That also became a thing as it went on. More and more people would have ketchup and mustard on their hot dog fingers.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, good job. I never would have ever thought of that.
No.
In a million years. I mean, hot dog toes might be better. Woo-hoo! Coffee break! Let's talk about our beans.
Hey Bean Flickers, have you followed us yet? We are on Instagram and Facebook at Flickin' Beans Pod. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave us a review. I'd rather have hot dog toes than still have my hands to play piano.
Right.
And eat with.
It's like on Bob's Burgers when they're shanghaied on the ship and Louise gets fake fingernails on her feet.
Oh, yeah.
Click-clacking around.
Do you watch Rick and Morty at all?
No, but there are comparisons to this.
There's a lot of comparisons.
Yeah, and I read that.
Because they have what do they call it? A portal gun in that, so they can jump universes. And one of the episodes that they have, well, they're always running into other versions of themselves. But one of the episodes that they have in particular, they find this device. It's like a VR device that will show you any alternate universe of yourself, like it's a movie. So then they all get like obsessed with looking at these other versions of themselves. One of them is like if they didn't have this kid, which they got pregnant when they were like teenagers and had the kid and got married, and so they're wondering like what would have happened, and like if they didn't get together, like he would have been a famous actor and she would have been like this brain surgeon.
Yeah.
But instead they had a kid, and then they end up fighting about it and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you did it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a dangerous prospect to be able to see what might have been, because you never can see that.
Can you imagine watching this movie of your other lives and just like yelling at it?
Right.
You know, like a scary movie where you're like, don't open that door.
Yeah.
Look behind you.
And they tell Evelyn that she's the worst version of any possible outcome.
Right.
She's living that out. And I was like, well, that's the worst one. That's not so bad. All our other ones must have been great.
But they said this Evelyn is definitely one of the more interesting ones.
True.
And you're capable of anything because you're bad at everything.
Yeah.
Wow. She's supposedly the worst version of herself, but she's just a normal, everyday person. It's unfair to say, oh, in all these other lives, you were a famous singer, But I think the worst life was when she was a pizza sign flipper.
Oh, yeah.
On the street corner. But that all of those other lives gave her the knowledge and the wherewithal to use all of those skills as weapons. Mm-hmm. So even the pizza flipper comes into play when she has this, I don't know, like a big metal door or something, and uses that to fight, flips it all around, and she's great.
In the beginning, when they're doing their taxes and she's kind of like not listening that well, Deidre is saying like, you can't write off a karaoke machine, you can't write off all these things, and they talk about all these things that she thought she might be, like a singer or whatever. She ends up tapping into that throughout the movie. If you have that interest, that's a possibility that you could have done that, which is cool to think about. In real life, that's true too. If you have something and you pursue it and you have some kind of calling towards it, I feel like you could really, whatever you want to do, you could make it happen.
Join a kung fu class. She could
Absolutely.
take voice lessons. She could still.
I don't know if she'll ever get Pinkies.
Oh my God.
Like that version of her.
Yes. She was doing push-ups just with her pinkies.
Yeah.
And then when that comes into the fight, they were like, you can have kung fu even in your pinkies. She uses her pinkies to knock the guy out.
Yeah, and they're like super swole. She flexes.
Muscle.
Yeah. It looks like a bicep in her pinky.
Oh my God. We should talk about the raccoonui.
There's so much to talk about this movie. Yeah.
I know.
So that was so funny because I thought it was going to be a one-off thing, and then it ended up being just like the hot dog fingers.
Yeah.
She gets the Ratatouille, the movie, wrong. She calls it Ratatouille.
But it's in a different universe.
True. So she must be pulling from that universe. Yeah, that's true. And they're making fun of her like, Mom, haha, it's a rat, not a raccoon. But then it is, and it's like in that universe really controlling a chef.
Yes, it's in real life. And later she whips his hat off and the raccoon is there and he's standing at the table with the diners.
Yeah.
But also she gets on his shoulders and controls him that way. And
Yeah.
they're running down the street with her on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And somebody else later.
They switch roles and the guy gets on her shoulders.
It was so weird.
For some reason, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, a couple other things that they use as a weapon. Jenny Slate's character, she has a Pomeranian and she just picks it up and starts swinging it around on its leash like it's a cannonball. Amazing.
See, that's another, besides Jamie Lee Curtis, I was surprised that she was in this movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, she's playing a trope of the Jewish American princess.
Yes.
Coming to get her fluff and fold laundry. She's referred to as Big Nose.
Yes.
But when they did the digital and DVD Blu-ray releases, they changed her name to Debbie the Dog Mom.
Okay.
Because Big Nose is pretty offensive.
Yeah.
When they're in the laundromat, the tax lady comes back to bitch at them for not showing up to their appointment, which is so unlikely. And she goes to fight her and she picks up the bat and the bat has googly eyes on it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the best. Wayman is just trying to kind of lighten the mood.
Yes.
And later he says that it's strategic for him to see the good side in things.
Yeah.
It's how he survives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And the other notion that, nothing really matters.
Right. Is that a comforting notion or a depressing one?
I feel like it's kind of saying just pick your battles and let most things go. Mm-hmm. Let it go.
Let it go. At the very end, they have a line that I feel like sort of sums up everything perfectly. It's when Waymond, after he's revealing why he is so, quote unquote weak and soft and kind, he goes, "Be kind, especially when we don't know what's going on." Because they're jumping universe to universe, you don't know what anyone's dealing with in their life, multitudes of life. It's just exponentially worse. And that's true about every person that you meet. Even the people in your life that you're close to, you don't know everything that's going on in their life or what's going on in their brain. And that's just a really good, sum up the whole movie. Be kind, especially when you don't know what's going on, because you don't know everything as much as everybody likes to think they do. You don't know.
The directors described this as an action film about empathy. So yeah, it's just what you were saying. We're all useless alone. At one point, one of the universes has Joy and Evelyn as rocks.
Yes.
And there's subtitles because rocks can't talk, but they could communicate with
somehow,
one another,
yeah,
like trees.
Mm-hmm. And eventually the rock has googly eyes too.
Yes. Let's talk about the bagel.
Yes, back to the bagel.
Back to the bagel. This is a concoction of Joy's.
Mm-hmm. And she says, "I just got really bored one day, so I put literally everything on a bagel." A great line.
Yeah.
And it creates sort of like this black hole sort of thing.
It will suck everyone into it. She wants to go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn doesn't want to lose her daughter. Yeah, it was scary and swirling and ever-present. I hate nothingness. And
and
void.
That's kind of what this everything bagel seems like it is. It's like, it's everything, so it's nothing.
I wrote in my notes, "Get in my bagel." And yeah, they talk about we're all small and stupid. Mm-hmm. And I think we have more, like you said this earlier, more strengths and skills within us than we realize.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's another big point of the movie, I think, is we're trying to get to Evelyn to trust herself and love herself. And that's something that she hasn't done. And all of these selves are also yourself. Right. So you have to love all the parts of you. Because there's really great ones, and then there's also this version, which is the worst version of you. It really is everything, everywhere, all at once in this movie.
It is.
I get it why Joy wants to end it. I can't imagine what that's like, experiencing every single thing all at once and all the different versions of it. Yeah, it's sort of like when you reach a goal sometimes, you're like, oh crap, now what?
Yeah.
I think that's why so many people that make it to be very famous, very rich or whatever, end up killing themselves, is because they no longer have something to look forward to. They're like, I've done the thing that I wanted to do. I'm 29 years old. Now what do I do?
Right.
I have to live up to that, which is impossible.
Drugs.
Well, drugs, yeah. You get easy access to drugs. or thinking that a certain thing is going to make you happy. And you can never escape all the bad parts too.
Yeah, just like when my mom said about Jim Morrison,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why he would do drugs. He's so good looking.
Right.
Oh my God.
Because good looking people, they can't have bad feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Beauty is in the face.
Yeah. Beauty is in the face.
We are led to believe that Evelyn is setting out to kill those versions of Joy so she can have her just normal daughter back. And then it turns out that they have a confrontation where Joy was just like, I was looking for you because...
She said that she didn't want to go into the void alone.
Okay, because... I guess to explain that and why Joy's seeing absolutely everything everywhere all at once, and now Evelyn is too, is because the more they jumped, the more they developed cracks and their brains both fractured. So that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
And so confusing. Yeah, so I get that she wanted to do that. But she just lets her go. In the end, metaphorically, it is just letting your kid grow up and letting them have their own.
There's a desire as a parent to want to protect your child from pain or from making mistakes, but you can't. For one thing, you just can't. And secondly, like those mistakes that they make are going to be how they learn. And if you protect them from it, then they're never going to learn those lessons.
Right.
So that you have to let them go. And in this case, Joy went like full evil, but got infested by a demon or something. I don't know that part exactly.
Teenager.
Yeah.
Hormones. I mean, I could see this movie ending with her waking from a dream, but it was amazing. I would watch and rewatch this movie.
Yeah, there's so much going on. It's very fast paced. So I bet there's things that you miss, especially like you'll probably, go back and go, oh yeah, that they talk about that later. Stuff that you didn't catch that was flashback because there's so many little things.
That's the way that they literally connected everything to all the universes. Like you said, all those Easter eggs, if you will.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. And did it win Movie of the Year? It won an Oscar. I meant to look that up.
I'm sure she did. I mean, if she didn't, she should have. Michelle Yeoh. You remember Moonlight when they read the wrong...
Oh, yeah. La La Land instead of Moonlight.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a Jeopardy question.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. It won Best Original Screenplay. It was nominated for music. Oh, no. It actually won Best Motion Picture of the Year in 2023 and Best Director. Oh, yeah. She won Michelle Yeoh. Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role. Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress.
Oh my God.
The actor Kei-Hu Kwan, who played Waymond, he also won Best Actor. There's more. I won't go through all of them. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought that it had won Picture of the Year.
Yeah, so at the end, we both decided that we really wanted an everything bagel.
It's true.
Yeah. Did we do it?
Yeah, I think we did it. We flick some beans. Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.